Hey guys, what's up? It's Apple Critics from AppleCritics.com. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 10 basic tasks that iOS users do wrong. So I'll just be showing you all the tasks that they do wrong and all the solutions to them so that whoever is watching this video won't make the same mistakes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight on into this video. So the first one is actually in the App Store. And once you're in the App Store, the main problem is managing subscriptions. So once you're in the App Store and you're subscribed to an app, you're probably wondering, how do I cancel this monthly subscription that I'm paying for? So it's not really clearly laid out, but to do that, all you have to do is go into the home page and then tap on your profile. And then it'll show your name with your email right there, so simply tap on that. And then what you're going to do is scroll down until you see subscriptions right there, so you'll tap on it. And then we'll show you all of your current subscriptions, so you can see that I'm subscribed to Dragon, and I also do have an Apple Music membership, so you can tap on it. And then you can also adjust the membership subscription, and you can change it from a family to an individual, or you can just pay for it 1 year instead of monthly, so you have a lot of options. And then what we can do is actually go back. And then once you go back, we can go into the Dragon one as well. And you can see that we do have some other options with this subscription, so we can just pay for it 1 year instead of paying for it monthly. So there's no dedicated option in settings to find this. You just have to go through the App Store and then your profile and then into your subscriptions. Then you can go ahead and edit your subscriptions and see what you're subscribed to on a monthly basis. So that's the subscriptions feature in the App Store. Now the next task that iOS users do wrong is going through their folders to find what the notification is for. So normally if we take a look at this one, you can see that we have one notification right there, and we have the apps in the folder, and the folder's name is social. So if we tap on it, you're gonna wonder, oh, which app was it for? So it could have been for WhatsApp, it could have been for Messenger, since that notification is on the side. But what we can actually do, instead of tapping on it, then going through all the apps in a particular folder, we can actually use 3D touch. So we can tap and hold, and then it's going to show you right away that it's Messenger is where that notification is from. Then I can go into Messenger, then I can go ahead and address that particular notification and respond to whoever was messaging me on the Messenger app. So it's just really simple. Instead of just going through a folder and then just going through all the different paths, because you could have a folder within a folder, you just simply 3D touch, and then you can go right on into a folder and find what the notification is for. Now the next common mistake that iOS users make is Control Center. So Control Center is actually very powerful, has a lot of great options, and you can customize it to your liking, but many people do not customize it to their liking. So that's a big feature that is part of iOS 12, so you can actually customize the Control Center. Now you're probably wondering how I got a few extra options right here, so I'm just going to show you how I do that right away. So if we go into Settings, and then we scroll down till we see Control Center, you're going to see that we have two options, so access within apps and then customize controls. So if we tap on customize controls, you're going to see that we have all these options. So that includes flashlight, timer, calculator, camera, keyring, screen recording. Then what we can actually do is add more controls. So we can just hit the plus sign, then you can rearrange all these controls to our liking. So you can see that we also have accessibility shortcuts. We can have a quick shortcut to our alarm, Apple TV remote, do not disturb while driving, guided access, low power mode, magnifier, notes, scan QR code, stopwatch, text size, voice memos, and wallet. So we have all those options that we can add. So let's say, for example, we add a QR code. And now the QR code will be right here. Then you can change the ranking of it by tapping and holding on these three lines right at the side. Then you can make the scan QR code be the first thing right there. And then what we can do is just simply go back. Then we can actually go into our Control Center now. And now you'll see they have scan QR code right there instead of having the flashlight in the very top left. So if we tap on it now, we have the options to go right on into the camera, and we can scan the QR code and then it will recognize it. So it's just that simple. So that is how we can customize controls in the Control Center. Now the next task that iOS users do wrong occurs in the notes, or just generally when you're typing in a text field. So let's say, for example, we type "this is a test." So we have it right there. So now the main error that people make is they probably just erase everything just to fix a certain part of a text that they wrote. So what we can actually do is tap and hold on the spacebar right here, and then it'll turn the whole keyboard into a trackpad. As you can see that all the letters go missing. And then what we can do is just control this type of trackpad, and then we can go through each individual word. So you can see that we could just highlight it, then we can delete it, or you could just go to, let's say, a misspelled word right there, then you can just hit the backspace instead. So it's really cool that it turns into this magic trackpad, and then we can just adjust what we misspelled. And we can also just use the magnifying glass just like we normally did, then we can get to the word like that. So there's two options that we have, but I really do like the trackpad feature. Now the next task is actually in settings, and it actually happens to do with permissions. So if we scroll on down to app permissions, a lot of users do get app permissions wrong, and here is why. So now let's say, for example, we go into any apps, let's say, for example, Spotify. Now, a lot of users allow too many permissions. So currently it has Spotify access to Siri and search suggestions and shortcuts. But now what we can do is actually tap on this. Then we can change it to just the lock screen only, or just search for Siri only. But sometimes some of these apps do get location access. So let's say, for example, I go into a different app. So now let's say, for example, Shazam. So if we go into the Shazam app, we can see that there's a lot of permissions. So we have the location access, we have the microphone access, we have the media and Apple Music access, we have Siri and search and notifications and cellular data. So what a lot of users get wrong is that they give so much access to these apps. So let's say, for example, normally people would have their location on for Shazam or some other app, but that's just a permission that you don't necessarily have to give away if all you need to know is what song is playing. They don't necessarily need to have your location, and also some other apps don't necessarily need to use your microphone, but for an app like Shazam it does make sense. But just some users just give away too many permissions and just accept all these permissions when not all these apps necessarily need certain functionalities. So that's what a lot of users do get wrong. The next task that a lot of users get wrong is Face ID. Now, Face ID does a great job of recognizing you, but the system can run into problems if you wear a mask or a headgear for your profession. So let's say, for example, sunglasses. So that is when I recommend using set up an alternate appearance. So by setting up an alternate appearance, you can just have a different look. So that Face ID can also recognize you when you wear sunglasses. So you can just tap on this. And then you can set up Face ID just like normal. And then you can set up Face ID for your alternate appearance with sunglasses, or let's say, for example, now you have a mustache or you just look a little different, then you can have an alternate appearance for Face ID. So it will automatically recognize you once you go through your phone. Now this alternate appearance is very useful for when you use just regular glasses or reading glasses, and also sunglasses and a lot more. So I just highly recommend using it. And also I do recommend, if you only have a fingerprint scanner, to add another opposite thumb on your left hand instead of your right hand, for example, or just add the same finger again when it's a little bit greasier, or just a little different angle. So make sure you have two fingerprints so it'll automatically recognize your finger or your face if you have a alternate appearance. Now the next task appears in the App Store. Now, what a lot of people don't do is update their apps. Now, by updating your apps, it does seem like it's just a menial task, but it actually does make sense to update your apps, because when you update your apps, it means that you'll get all the bug fixes, you'll make the apps more secure, it'll be more optimized to your device, it'll be faster. So it doesn't make sense just using an app that was from iOS 12, but now you're on iOS 12.2. Apps do get updated over a course of a week and even days and months, so it always makes sense to be running the latest version, especially if you have a grand spanking new phone, such as an iPhone XS Max or just a brand new phone. You want to make sure it's updated to the latest and greatest version at all times. So just highly recommend that you just update your apps frequently. And you can even set your apps to update automatically or overnight, so it just makes sense to have your apps updated at all times. Now the next task is that a lot of users end up exiting out of every single app. Now you don't necessarily have to exit out of every single app, because iPhones are only getting better and better, and they're getting the fastest processors and more memory, so that means that they can handle more apps at once. So you don't always have to stop your apps from running one by one anymore. Your device is getting better and faster, so you could run as many apps in the background as possible. And it's also recommended to have a few apps in the background so that your device is ready to go to that app quick. So let's say, for example, you're in settings, then you quickly want to go into the camera. It just makes sense to always have these apps open so that you can use it, and that's why you have the latest and greatest device, so that you're able to use the fast processor and have the best battery life. And having apps open in the background won't really affect your battery life after your device does get used to how you're using your device, and then it'll eventually optimize and make sure that it's running the fastest and giving a longevity in the battery life. Now, the next task that happens is that a lot of users let their phone get hot. So if your phone is overheating, it's recommended that you take your iPhone case off, number one. And also, when you're charging your iPhone, you want to charge it without the case, because a lot of heat gets stored within your iPhone and the case, and that's why it's going to be overheating. So if that's a problem, just make sure you just take the case off. And having your phone at full brightness and on for a long time will not help the cause either. And make sure you auto lock your device after a minute, because if you never auto lock your device, that's when your phone will always be on and it'll overheat, and that will be a main cause for overheating. Now, the last task that a lot of users don't know is taking a screenshot and the capabilities that you have with taking a screenshot. So if you don't know, if you're on an iPhone 10 or 10s or 10s Max, it's just the up volume key and then the side power button. And then if you hit both of them at the same time, it will take a screenshot. But a lot of people don't know, if you tap and hold on the screenshot preview, you'll now have all these options to share this particular preview. So you can now see that you have the airdrop feature, then you have your messages, mail, add notes, shared albums, messenger. Then you can assign it to a contact, you can copy it, you can print it, you can save files, you can create a watch face, and much more. So you can see that there's a lot of great features with a screenshot. Instead of going into the photos and tracking down where that screenshot went, it's just a lot easier now that you have that shared capabilities by tapping and holding onto that screenshot. So thanks for watching this video on the 10 tasks that a lot of iPhone users do wrong. Please be sure to subscribe. Please like this video. Please smash the like button down below so you watch. Also be sure to check out all the other videos on my channel. Be sure to check out applecritics.com for latest Apple news, views, and more. Like my Facebook fan page at facebook.com/applecritics, and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/applecritics, and also follow me at Instagram at instagram.com/applecritics or at applecritics. And thanks for watching.